Hello, and welcome to Boot Camp. In this segment, we're going to be talking about the geometry of parallelograms. So the first question is, what is a parallelogram? You've been working with these for some time without even realizing it. In full context, a parallelogram is a shape with two sets of parallel sides. So what you see here in front of you is a four-sided shape with the right and the left sides are running kind of right next to each other. They won't cross. That's called being parallel rather than intersecting. Top and the bottom, same thing. Those are going to run right next to each other and not cross. Now, you could say you could have more sides to this, but typically we're dealing with four when we talk about parallelograms. What are some classic parallelograms? Well, your rhombus, your rectangle, and your square. What does it mean to be a rhombus? A rhombus is a parallelogram with two sides that are the same length. When you do that, all four sides end up being the same length. We often call it the square that got pushed over. If you push it over a little bit, you have all the sides are the same length. You have the parallel kind of thing that we've been talking about, but you haven't really destroyed the side lanes. You have destroyed the angles, and more on that in just a moment when we talk about rectangles. A rectangle is a parallelogram with one right angle. And by how that kind of sets it up, you have all four angles being right angles. You haven't destroyed the side lanes being parallel, but they could be different sizes. And lastly, you have the square. The square, in short, is both a rhombus and a rectangle. Come to terms with saying that all squares are rectangles and rhombuses, but not all rectangles are squares. You have to have all four sides be the same length and have all four angles be right angles. That's a square. A square is a very, very simple form. It's usually an easy example for any problems that you may see. If we want to find the area and perimeter of these shapes, recall that the area is how much room you have on the inside of the shape. The perimeter is how far around the outside. Here's the thing. To go from, say, a rhombus here on the right, if I cut off the portion that kind of sticks out and put it on the other side, I'll change it into a rectangle. So again, you kind of see how these three shapes all kind of bounce back on each other. The area of a parallelogram is base times height. So if the base was 3 and the height was 5, your area would be 15. Your perimeter, or your distance around, is going to be, well, if you add up all four sides, you'll get how far around. Think of it like a fence for a garden. You're going to have your base plus your height plus your base plus your height, or two of your bases and two of your heights added together. So if we had a height of 3 and a base of 5, well, I have a 5 on top and a 5 on bottom and a 3 on left and a 3 on right. So, that's going to be 5 and 5 is 10, 3 is 13, and 3 is 16. Now, if we're measuring in feet, then the area is always going to have a squared unit, or square feet, and perimeter is always going to have just the feet itself. That was our segment on the geometry of parallelograms.